And welcome back to Ring Talk with myself, Martin Theobald, and Steve Goodwin. Steve, how are you?
I'm all good, mate. All good.
And the man who looks like he's launching his OnlyFans today, Brad Pauls.
That's me, mate. I don't think I should do that. I'd be skint.
How are you, Brad?
Yeah, I'm all right, mate. Yeah, I'm all right. Just patiently waiting for boxing to be back. It's been long, isn't it, mate? Yeah. But we're here, almost there, like the end of the tunnel.
Enjoying the sunshine, I see.
Yeah, I was in the sun for a bit today. I need to get my vitamin D in. As pale as a ghost before, so I thought I'd top up the tan, mate. Yeah.
So for those that don't know, Brad Pauls, are you still Southern Area Middleweight champion, or have you relinquished the belt now?
Yeah, vacated that after my last fight, hoping to go for the English, and then I think that's been fought for. Someone else won it after me, and then I think it's vacant again now. So yeah.
Okay. So former Southern Area Middleweight champion, but undefeated, knockout. We're going to come on to all that stuff. All your career stuff we'll come on to shortly, and then where you're going. Steve, what's going on with Goodwin boxing this week? We've got Kay Prosper coming up soon out in Europe.
Yeah, about we got 3.5 weeks to go before his big fight.
Yeah. So, you heard from Kay?
Yeah, he's training well. Xavier's back now, so that's better for him because he was going to have to train without Xavier being around in the original date. And now Xavier's back. He can get it, he can work with Xavier for the last few weeks before he goes over.
Yes, we'll come on to Xavier's involvement from the weekend shortly. But yeah, it'll be beneficial to him now, have that last 3 weeks tapering with Xavier.
Yeah. Because he couldn't go to Portugal because he wouldn't be able to get back, would you, and do his job. So that was, that was why he stayed here. But yeah, I mean, look, it's a big fight for him. It's career defining. It's everything that a fighter wants to try and do. He's up against it in somebody's backyard, but but on the other end, he's got a realistic chance of pulling off an upset. So.
And your ex-stablemate, of course, Brad, your ex-training partner.
Yeah. I really like Kay. He's a real nice guy. I really hope he goes and does it. I've sparred Kay a few times and it's real hard for the weight, so anything can happen and it would change his life, wouldn't it, if he goes and wins? So
yeah,
all the best to Kay.
Massively. So we'll be keeping people updated how Kay's getting on as the date approaches. But for now, we're going to focus upon you, Brad. 14-0, 9 knockouts, talking about people that hit hard for the weight. Everything going swimmingly in your career up until 12 months ago when the brakes got put on for you and 99% of other boxers.
Yeah.
What does the last year look like for you, frustration-wise, hope-wise?
It's honestly been the hardest year of my life. Like, it's different. I've never not had boxing. I've boxed since I was 10, never had a season off, never missed a session if I could help it. And then all of a sudden, boxing's disappeared. And to be honest, at the start, it was not easy. Proper loss of purpose. It took me a while to find my feet. Had to get a job. And yeah, it's just been absolute hell. I've just been literally waiting for boxing to come back. But yeah, I can't wait to be back. And before I was about to fight for the English, I was about to fight Mick Hall when the first lockdown happened. I couldn't tell you how much I was flying in camp. I know it's cliche, but I was smashing the PBs on the track and sparring. Terry was like, "You got this, mate. You're on a mad one." And then fight cancelled, no fight, all gone, and I'm still just waiting.
That's right. So you're going to fight Mick Hall, the Northerner. He's Manchester-based, isn't he, Mick?
Yeah, Preston he's from, yeah.
Yeah, and you're going to fight him down in Plymouth.
Yeah, I had it all on my show, everything set up. Had all Steve sorted out all the title side of it, everything sweet. Linus was fighting just before. But no. So that's life. Everything for a reason. Hopefully sets up something better. But
and you're still young enough, this is just a delay for you. It's not like the end of a career. You're young enough that 1 year out of the ring doesn't impact you horrendously.
No, that's what I think. It just slows what's going to happen anyway? Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to reach these things. It just slows everything down a little bit. And when you want something so bad and then it just sort of gets taken away and you have to wait even longer and there's nothing you can do about the situation, which makes it a little bit harder. But I haven't sat around and just got out of shape and just waited for it. I've been training as much as I can. So I feel like I come back improved, like come back with a different level. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it's not time wasted.
So what's the reality then of the situation for you? Because you said you went out and you had to go and get a job and you had to, presumably it's a big lifestyle change.
Yeah, do you know what? Like, I've never worked a full-time job since I turned pro, like properly. And any boxer who works full-time work and still trains for fights, sells tickets, makes weight, will have the most respect from me forever. Like, it must be the hardest thing in the world. Because me just doing it one session after work or before work or something, I find that it's hard. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I got a job in a special needs school. Like, it's really nice place, massive, with like epilepsy. Like, can I get put with like the behaviour kids? So they try and attack me all the time and like try and stab me and stuff, try and punch me. So yeah, I got the boxing's coming handy, and they're trying to attack me.
Shoulder rolling them.
Yeah, I can't hit it back. Do you know what I mean? I can't hit it back. So I'm working on my defense. These kids are throwing shoes and stuff at me. But I feel like I'm living someone else's life. Do you know what I mean? I'm just sitting here, just waiting for boxing, and I must be doing Steve's head in because I message him a lot. Steve, please get me a fight. I'll go fight in Europe for free. Anything, please. And he's just like, Brad, just be patient, like calm down. Innit, Steve? I've bust on your head in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I know, but no, he thinks he's done doing my head in because I understand where you're coming from. I understand the frustrations, but I've been just trying to reassure him that don't panic and take the wrong fight and do the wrong thing. That's all I've been trying to say to him because he wants to fight and he wants to fight anybody. But it's important you don't waste getting to 14-0. You don't waste all the work you put in your career, your amateurs, your pros. You're on the verge of the breakthrough. And this happens. Don't go and make the wrong decision. And that's what I've been trying to just tell Brad, really, for the time of lockdown.
Yeah, I understand. So we're here now, so we've done it now, so that's right.
Yeah. It might be a stupid question, so laugh at me by all means. With the frustration of not being able to fight and not being able to go through the motions of, getting your hands wrapped at York Hall, getting out under the lights, your ring walk, all of that, does it make your sparring with Linus and everyone else, does it make that more intense? Do you actually go harder as if it's actually, you're so desperate for a fight, you whack the shit out of one another?
I think it depends on the person. Like, I love sparring. It's my favourite bit of training. It's the closest thing you get into a fight. And like, with the sparring side of it, you do the best you can. And like, I've had really good sparring recently, Dignam, Carl Fale, all these people, and it's been great. I've been learning, but you just use it as practice. But the stuff that you don't necessarily enjoy as much, like the long runs and being a bit more strict on your diet, you get to the point and you're like, what's the point? Like, there's no fight. Like, what's the point? And that's where discipline comes in. Do you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, it's a weird one, but I'd love the sparring, so I'd turn up to any sparring session they offer me. Do you know what I mean?
But do you actually go a little bit harder, given all the frustration around it, or have you managed to keep it reined in and just do your standard levels?
I don't know. It depends on the person. Like, if it's Linus, I've done a billion rounds of him. Do you know what I mean? And we just do what we do. But then if it's lads I don't know in the gym, you probably tend to go a bit harder because you might fight him one day. Do you know what I mean? Like, I might fight Dignam soon, or I might fight whoever soon. So when it's someone like that, you probably do go a bit harder. Do you know what I mean? You shake hands after and that's it.
Yeah. What's been the hardest thing? I know you said there about getting another job, keeping focus, even the lifestyle change of seeing family and friends or loved ones or whatever. What's been the hardest thing for you?
Good question. I think it's just a loss of purpose. Like, I've never not boxed. You take away boxing and I'm just like, well, what do I do then? Like, it's not really who I am. And to be honest, I moved to Essex just for boxing. If you take away boxing, I moved back to Cornwall. And I've moved here, I've got a nice flat, I've got my girlfriend up here. And we moved here to start a lockdown. And then I couldn't go back, so I was tied into the flat. So I've been away from my family. Everyone's having kids left, right and centre. And I can't be there. Do you know what I mean? So it's hard just being away from my family, but I have to do it. I'm sort of tied in now. So, yeah.
Put a spin on it. Put a spin on it. What's been the best thing about it? What's been, you know, all the changes that everyone's adapted to? What's been the best thing for you?
That's a really hard question.
Moving in with your girlfriend.
You got to be a real optimist, didn't you?
Moving
Being
in
able
with
to eat
your
what I
girlfriend.
want, yeah, I can eat what I want, Martin. Do you know what I mean? I can eat what I want. It's lovely. There's no dieting. I ain't got to sell no tickets. I can take it a bit more easy on social media. I know you don't like it and you like people to be busy on social media, but it's
Wrong answer.
I'm not trying to sell tickets. I'm not in people's faces. I've just had a bit more of a chilled life, and it's sort of just take a step back. But yes, I've enjoyed the relaxed style, like lifestyle, but I do miss the purpose. Do you know what I mean?
I want to spin that social media one as well, because surely boxers ought to be using this as an opportunity to build profile. Like all those hours where you're not doing boxing stuff that you would have otherwise been doing. Is it not a perfect opportunity to put those hours into building a social media, an online or a local, whatever it is, profile?
Yeah. You honestly, you're right. But for me, personally, I don't enjoy social media, like using it. If I didn't box, I'd probably delete it.
Yeah.
I think it does more harm than good for me. So you are right. So I've been a little bit active, just letting people know I'm there. But yeah, it probably is, and I probably should do it. I probably should do like a day in the life of Brad, and people will be really bored. I'll probably lose all my followers, but
I'm going to get onto it, Matty. We're going to come up with a plan.
All right. Thanks, Martin. Cheers, mate.
So, right, let's talk about when boxing gets back. Let's assume, and I don't know because no one does, but let's assume it's September. What would be your ideal return? Say you could get a fight date. Say Steve could say to you, we're definitely going to go September and December.
Yeah.
And we can get you on both. What would be your ideal return? Is it straight into like a hard, I don't know, let's pick Danny Dignam for WBO European or something like that?
Yeah.
Or Mick Hall for the English? Or would you rather get back in and go through the motions once before getting into a bigger fight?
I think to give myself every advantage, I have to have a warm-up fight. And I was saying to Steve, like, it's not just for one reason. It's not just for ring rust. There's other reasons to it. You got to think, I ain't made middleweight since I was 26. I'll be nearly 28. I'll be 28 then. Yeah.
That's a big difference, isn't it?
Big difference. And like, I don't make it easy. It's not a walk in the park. I've got to be very neat. And I haven't sold tickets in 2 years. Like, and if you go, right, we're going to a big fight, Brad, and you got to sell this amount of tickets to make a penny. And I go, I don't know how it's going to go. Some people might have died. Some people might have lost their jobs. Some people might have got rich. But like Steve said, he thinks people are going to want to come and watch. But I think you need that first one to just test out how are you going to do. Like, you don't know. Like, we've never been in this situation. And then the third thing probably is the ring rust. Like, you need to go through the motions of a camp and then see how you crack on with it. Do a little one in September, a little 6 or 8 rounder. Not an easy fight. Someone who's going to, do you know what I mean, try and win. And then December, back where we left off. Ring rust gone, done all that stuff. Get me English, another title, tough fight. That's what we want.
That's a really fair point about the stuff about ticket selling and you as a boxer not knowing how people are going to react to coming back. I appreciate ticket selling is always a consideration, but actually, yeah, you're right. It's people don't know what the reaction will be.
Not a clue, don't know, but we'll find out. Give me a little cheap one first, see if I can make any money, and then we'll go from there.
We got a Plymouth show in October, Martin, as well. So,
okay, there you go, Brad.
Come on, Martin, come down to Plymouth. It's well good,
mate. As soon as they let me out of this house, I'm going anywhere.
There you go, Steve. One ticket, Steve. Sorted.
Sign me up.
Got another 200 to go. Sorted, mate.
I hope you don't have to sell 200 tickets for a 6 rounder or an 8 rounder.
So are you eyeing up the Plymouth show in October then as being your, like, is that mentally where you're working towards?
I think so. It's up to Steve. If he thinks I can just do a little quick one in July, if it's possible, I'll do it. Like, I'd rather just get it done sooner rather than later. and then big Plymouth one in October. But I'm going to have to have that warm up.
The July thing is possible, but it's possible, but not that likely, because the board haven't relaxed their rules, and until they relax their rules, and if we wait till say we get to the 25th of June and the board go, I'm going to relax our rules, that gives us 4 weeks to put a show on, which is going to be very, very difficult. Very difficult to arrange a whole show in 4 weeks. That's going to be the problem. We can't have the show without the board releasing their rules, because we can't put everybody in hotels and bubbles and all this sort of stuff. You can't.
You know, so 4 weeks notice. Brad at light heavy.
Nobody will be ready. That's the problem. You'd have to have a release in May. You'd have to know in May you could do that in July, and then you can run. And when we've got a show booked, we're ready to go, but we would need confirmation we can run in May, realistically.
Yeah. So probably the end of the year then, Martin. Hopefully you get 2, because I'm going to need the warm-up then, maybe a big one in December.
No reason you can't do 2. There's no reason we can't do 2.
Yeah.
Is it a consideration? I know you were kind of saying it, not even jokingly, but you were 26, now you're 28. Is it a consideration to go up to super middle?
I think people don't think I'm that big of a middleweight, but they don't see the numbers. Like, I've got a weird body shape, like my legs are a bit big and stuff.
I've seen your legs and I've seen you in the gym, and I know you're a big middleweight.
I think I could handle myself at super middle. But if for the right opportunity, I could step up to super middle, no problem. But I need to go back down to near middle and then see how I feel. If I perform well, it's all about the performance. If I perform well, I'll stay there. If it takes the life out of me, do you know what I mean? Then we'll have to consider moving up.
And have you, what's Terry Stewart been like for you during all of this? Because, he's an old hand at doing everything boxing-wise, but he's never been through a pandemic before. He's never had to keep a stable of fighters motivated, and he's also gone through the gym change, hasn't he, over the course of this? Yeah,
he's just cracked on, mate. Like, still just evil in the gym. He still sits there thinking of evil stuff to do that makes us pain. But it's good, and mixing that gym up has really helped us, I think, getting that new gym. Yeah, because there's just a constant flow of fighters for different sparring. Like, our sparring lads, I don't know who they are, but they're 5-0, 6-0, 7-0. And instead of me sparring Linus every week and Sean, I'm getting these different fighters for sparring. It's absolutely brilliant. Like, love it. Do you know what I mean? So, it's worked out. That side's worked out amazing. And Terry's still just as evil, cracking on, no problem.
Good.
Love it.
Good. So, Steve, what would happen? Let's go hypothetical. Say Denzel Bentley, Felix Cash. Say Felix Cash went and tore a bicep, 4 weeks notice, or it's about 4 weeks away now anyway, isn't it? Less than that. What would happen if you got a phone call saying, get Brad on?
He's not fit. He wouldn't be fit, would he? He wouldn't be ready. He wouldn't be ready for that fight at 4 weeks notice. And you've got to be realistic. I don't want him to, it's the same conversation I said before. I don't want him to undo all the good work by taking the wrong fight at the right time. That fight, the British title will come. He's only got to keep winning. It will come. He'll get that opportunity. And we will talk about that in a minute, about Metcalf and people that go into these fights without being ready. And we can cover that later. But I want Brad, when he takes that when we have that opportunity, and we will, I want there to be no excuses. I want him to be the best Brad there can be, so that the only reason he loses is if he's not good enough. And that we can all walk away and accept. But I can't have him losing because he's not prepared well enough, or we've made the wrong decision. And as long as we can go there and then he's at his best, I'm confident he'll win a British title. And then he's a TV fighter. And then my job is done then. And then it's just navigating him through as far as he can go from that position. But he's got to go and win that big fight to get him a TV contract. And it's got to be a TV contract that is beneficial to him, not a TV contract where he's going to be used as the opponent and going to be used to, for somebody else's needs. It's got to be where he's in control. And this is what a lot of fighters do. They take a contract and they lose control of what they're doing, and it all goes wrong for them. And then they retire saying, you know, boxing's a pig sport, but it's because they've made the wrong decision. And I want Brad to be in a position where he's in control, the same as we were with Frank Buglioni, when Frank Buglioni won the British title, where we could control his opponents. And again, we took that one fight too much, which was a fight I didn't want to do. Right at the end,
Callum Johnson one.
Callum Johnson, I didn't want the Callum Johnson fight. I wanted to move on. We could have got a world title eliminator at that point against some Mexican. And that, to me, made more sense. But going back to that, up to that point, we were in total control of Frank's career, selecting the opponents, Ricky Summers, Craig Richards, all the ones that we could, without being disrespectful at that time, we were picking the easiest opponents we could for the maximum amount of money we could get. So it was working perfectly at that point. And that's what I want to do with Brad. It's exactly the same. We can do that, but be in control. Be in control.
I agree with Steve. I trust Steve.
So as much as it would deep down, like, I guess, hurt not to be able to go, yeah, all right, I'll crash the weight. I'll be ready in 3 weeks. You understand, I guess, that it's ultimately the sensible thing is to say, wait for the right opportunity, not the current opportunity.
Yeah. Give yourself like the best chance you can have. Like if you sell yourself short, and if you lose and it's really close, and you'd be kicking yourself, wouldn't you? Like, oh, if I just had an extra couple of weeks training, I didn't die on the scales, like, then that's it for the rest of your life. You've got to look back with that loss going, it's only because of this. I don't want that. I want to look back going, knowing I did everything I could to get what I got. I didn't do anything like that. So, yeah, what Steve said, he's spot on.
So where do you see, once boxing opens up, and again, let's go with October now, 12 months on from October, where do you want to be at? Assume everything can go back to normal and to whatever degree the same as what it was.
I'd love to box on TV. Just, like, first thing anyone asks me.
I'll have failed my job if within 12 months of October we're back to normal, he's not on TV. Then I have failed. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. I won't fail.
It's the first thing people ask me, go, have you boxed on TV yet? And I was like, no, I've done other stuff, but I haven't quite made it to TV yet. But, yeah, I think I want to...
There's a story behind it. Sorry, Brad, butting in. But Brad was going for the English title ahead of Linus, and he got the nose injury. And what happened was Brad then got injured at the wrong time for his career. So Linus obviously took advantage and came through. But then when Brad came back, Linus was ahead of the game. So that's why Linus has had the TV. If it had been the other way round, it would have been exactly, probably in the opposite trajectory, So that's just what happened. Is sometimes you get a bit of bad luck, but sometimes it comes through. It comes well for you in the end. That's all.
I think you're an ideal prospect for any TV channel. Anyone that's involved in a TV channel for boxing out there, make sure you get Brad on. In that you look $1 million, you talk well, and you fight and you hurt people. Like, as a boxing fan, those are the 4 boxes I want ticked.
Let me tell you something else, Martin. I've heard reliable stuff about a lot of things that are going on. The announcement that was made today, I knew about that. I also know that there's new TV networks coming involved into boxing, and I can assume, and I'm pretty sure that the thing that was done today is linked in with that. So there's going to be more TV coming involved. And let's just leave it there for the time being, but there's going to be opportunities.
We're going to come on to that because I've got a question about that in a little while.
Okay.
So as I say, any TV network, you would be an ideal person to get, like the highlight reel that you've put together, and it goes back a couple of years now, doesn't it? But all your knockouts from like the amateurs through to the pros, and you can add in the likes of Robbie Chapman to that now as well. And,
yeah, it's grown a bit.
You hurt people in the ring, and as savage as that is, that's what boxing fans want to see.
Yeah. I'm just under the radar, mate. Like, I'm just doing it in stealth mode, and I doing my career in stealth mode, and gonna surprise everyone on TV one day, hopefully.
Yeah. So let's go on to some names then. Let's pick some names out around the middleweight division, because you've got I mean, Linus is the obvious one. People always say, "Oh, would you fight Linus?" I know you won't fight Linus. Not anytime soon. Not unless there's a world title on the line. Not unless there's, £1 million each sat waiting for you. That's not happening. But then you've got the other ones that are around there, the likes of Denzel Bentley, the likes of Felix Cash, the likes of Danny Dignam. Do you look at them and think, I can take them?
Yeah, part of me does. Part of me does. Like, I think I need one more tough fight, like Robbie, before I have one of these fights, I think. But yeah, these are the sort of people I look at, and my absolute dreams to get a British title. I look at and I think that's the British title fight, that. And they're the people I'm going to have to beat. And there's loads of names at middleweight. Like, I can't say his name, the Black Thunder guy.
Oh, Arco.
Yeah,
you know that one. Yeah, that seems like would be a really good fight for me. Like that. There's quite a few middleweights out there that I think that would be a good British title fight. And that's my tough fight like that for the British title is my absolute dream.
And I'm guessing for that British title, you want a tough fight. You wouldn't want like the easy touch somewhere. Like if you're going to pick up such a belt, you want it a hard way.
Yeah. Yeah. Say again?
A legitimate way as well. Like
a legitimate, like no easy touch stuff. I don't think you get that for the British. Like you might get away with it Southern area or something, but British, like look at Ted Cheeseman Metcalf, like that. That's my dream. Fight like that, ending like that. That's what I want.
Yeah. But I mean, when you go back to like that one more learning fight, I think that's a really good thing. I mean, I know you would call out people and you'd happily fight. I know you'd fight anyone tomorrow because I know what your mindset is. But to be wise enough to know you could do with that one more, the Mick Hall fight, whoever's around when all this comes back, someone that will take you a fair few rounds, give you a chin check.
Yeah.
Take you into deep waters a bit and roughen you up and toughen you up for when you need that experience in the ring.
Yeah, because then I've given myself every opportunity for the British then. Do you know what I mean? I've prepared myself as best as I could to get myself what I wanted. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I fight like that, and that's what I need. Just one more tough fight like that.
What's the worst you've been hurt in the ring? Because I can't think of an occasion where I remember looking at you thinking, oh, he's taken that.
In an actual fight, I don't know. But I think that's just no sense, no feeling. There's not a lot going on up here, Martin. So when I get here, I just don't know what's going on. But there was one time I sparred Groves before he fought Eubank, his last spar. And at that point, I'd never been dropped in my entire life, amateur pro sparring, whatever. And he put me down in the 6th and jumped straight back up, finished the round, concussion. But it's the only time I've been, do you know what I mean? So it doesn't happen that often. It's a rare occasion. So I need to have it in a fight, I think, and see how I handle it. Like you need it. You need that test.
Yeah, you do. And as I say, to the best of my memory, which is fading with age, I don't remember seeing you ever wobbled or, kind of taking square shots, which is a testament as much to your defensive capabilities as much as anything else. So it's not necessarily a bad thing that you haven't been hit.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's going to happen. Like, you get a British title, that's going to happen, mate. Like, you're going to get hit hard. So you need to see how you handle it. I know how I'm going to handle it, but you need to go and do it.
Yeah, and when you look at when Denzel Bentley fought, who was it he won the British title against that he drew
Heffron.
Heffron, yeah. And what the damage he did to Heffron in that fight. Like, those are heavy shots. Those are big damaging shots. And yeah, I'm not saying you want to go through that experience, but you want to go through the experience prior to that to get you ready for it.
Yeah, definitely. That's it, 100%.
Right, so let's crack on with the action from the weekend then. So go Friday night. We're not going to run through everything because there's 3 cards from the weekend. So what did anyone see from Friday night on the Frank Warren show?
Sam Gilly.
Yeah.
Great fight, close fight. I know Sam, sparred Sam. One of those close ones, wasn't it? It couldn't have went either way, so just a bit gutted for him. But it was a good fight. It's good matchmaking.
How did you have it?
Maybe Sam by round, but maybe I'm biased.
I didn't score it, but you know, when you're watching it and you kind of feel how a fight's going. So it's not a scientific approach by any means, but I thought Ball by maybe 1, maybe 2. But as I say, that wasn't with any logic behind it, other than how I felt the fight went.
Yeah.
But it was a great fight, really enjoyable fight. And both lads really toughed it out as well. I was impressed.
Yeah.
We said that last week, though. We said it was very, very evenly matched, and that proved to be the case. But that's the level of both fighters. They're decent operators. But you've got to remember, Sam Gilly, if Curtis Felix had won the last round in their fight for the Southern area, Sam Gilly wouldn't have won that fight. So Curtis Felix would have won the fight. So it was, as I said to you last week, it was very, very close. And when you know what Echo Esman did with Curtis Felix, that sets the level bar. And that's but they are both very evenly matched. But neither on that performance are going to be winning a British title.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't much else on the Friday night show, but I did enjoy the BT production side of things. It felt like an actual Next Gen. I know Next Gen is the Sky side of things, but it felt like, you know, they got Lyndon Arthur on, they got Sonny Edwards on. They gave fighters a platform to sit and sell themselves. I really enjoyed it.
No, I enjoyed it. It was good. It was really good. It was really good. Listen, the fight, and that fight was brilliant. Both fighters deserve all the credit, don't they, for what they went through there. And the whole thing, I thought was really enjoyable. That the end fight. It's the only, to be honest with you, it was the only. It was the first fight, which was very odd, and it was the only fight.
Yeah, I was surprised.
It was very odd. I missed the first few rounds because I was travelling back from somewhere. I think I'd go and get some food or something. I didn't remotely think it was going to be on first. So anyway, it was.
The Sam Maxwell fight was quite enjoyable. Did you see that at all?
Didn't see that one.
Didn't watch any others.
He was fighting a guy from Midlands. I can't remember his name, but it really brought. It was like last minute replacement.
Ben Fields. Ben Fields. Ben Fields.
Ben Fields, that is it.
Yeah.
And not that he had Maxwell in trouble particularly, but he gave him a hard night, and it was proper, like, every opportunity that Fields could get in. He just led with his head, and then was throwing, grabbing the arms, yanking the shoulder, rubbing the head, putting his hand on the ropes and pulling him in. And it was like a real test for Maxwell. I enjoyed it.
You remember Ben Fields fighting on one of our shows?
I do, but I couldn't remember who it was against.
Drew with Denis Denikachev.
There you go.
Yeah.
And Dennis is a good fighter.
Yeah, Dennis was winning easily and just got tired. That was all it was. He won 4 rounds. Dennis won the first 2. Fields won the last 2. But Dennis would beat him if they fought again. But yeah, he's very, very tough, Ben Fields. He's had a hard life and he's really turned his life around. So full credit to him.
I really enjoyed watching him. He gave Maxwell a real hard time, the last minute standing. Saturday night, we'll start with the Warren card because I know the two clashed, the Warren Hearn ones, and if I'm honest, I watched the Sky card. I didn't really see much of the BT one. So if anyone's got any opinions on it, feel free to throw them out.
I saw Clark Hutchinson. We were watching both shows at the same time because we were in our new garden area.
That's a nice setup, Steve. That's a nice setup.
Yeah,
that's the dream, isn't it?
We've got 2 screens and we can watch 2 things at once, so it's great. So I saw the Hutchinson Clark, and exactly what you said last week it's so difficult to judge it, but Hutchinson he'd fought nobodies and then he fought somebody and he wasn't able to cope with the somebody.
Yeah, so this was going back to my point of last week. Willie Hutchinson. I've got no doubt Willie Hutchinson is a supremely talented fighter. No doubt, from everything that you hear about him. But he'd never fought at the weight, and he'd never fought anybody with, a quality record. He'd never had that step before a British title. Exactly what we were chatting about with you, Brad. He'd never had that proper chin check, that heart test, all those, the standard kind of idioms that come with it. and then he got found out against Lennox Clark. I have seen that fight. I've watched it retrospectively. And it wasn't that it was a lucky punch or anything like that. Lennox Clark was the better fighter on the night, which there's no shame in, but Lennox Clark isn't being sold to me as a world title fighter.
Yeah, I got caught. Tough fight.
Yeah. And
this is what we're saying. This is what I was saying, Mark. So it's what I was saying before about Brad. When I'm sort of a cautious manager, because I think that your fighter should be going in when it's absolutely bang on. And that's not, in my opinion, the right way for Willie Hutchinson to be manoeuvred into a British title fight. That's my view. And there are so many instances of that happening. And for me, you've got to be able to do those correct steps. Got to.
I had this conversation with Billy Nelson, the trainer, on Twitter, who was saying, "Oh, he got caught on the ropes."
No,
I think that does a disservice to Willie Hutchinson's career if that's how you're going to approach it. Just to say he got caught on the ropes happens to everyone. No. If it were me, and I realise I'm not a trainer, I realise Billy Nelson has trained fighters far longer than I ever have, etc., etc. But you want to work back from being caught on that ropes all the way back to why did he get caught on those ropes? And I'd factor in everything about he's never fought at that weight before. He's never fought people anywhere near Lennox Clark's standard. Should he have been fighting at that weight whatsoever? Like all these things, it should, to me, factor in back to that decision making, because if not, you're going to repeat the errors.
That's exactly it. And people don't, when they lose, they try and make excuses. Just accept things are wrong. And there's other things, other boxers lost at the weekend, and I'm not going to go into. And there's serious questions about certain things, in my opinion, of what goes on, and they need to reflect on why things aren't right for them and what's going wrong. And yeah, so no, I agree. I don't. But then I guess Willie Hutchinson's Scottish and Billy's Scottish, and they stick up for their own, which is that's all admirable. But the point is, that wasn't the reason he lost. No.
And any other industry, it would be, industries that I've worked within, you're asked to positively challenge what happens. And it feels like that's different in boxing at times, that you can't positively challenge why something's gone wrong. You have to just accept someone got hit on the ropes. I'm like, there's a lot of things that built up to that moment, but anyway.
Yeah. Then how do you learn from it? If you go back to the gym and you go, right, you just got caught, so don't work on anything. It was just a lucky punch. Doesn't help the fighter a lot. Like you were saying, it doesn't help him a lot. If you go back to him and you go, right, this is what happened, we can improve this, then you can work with something. It's not just you learn from it, you come back.
Yeah. Anyway, as I say, I have full respect for Billy Nelson. It was just an interaction I had with him.
All
right. The Dillian Whyte show. Where do we want to start with that? Who saw what?
Saw it all.
So let's start. I'm going to start it off with Cheeseman Metcalf, because what fight!
What a great fight!
Yeah, loved it.
Both of them were out at any one point.
Cheeseman won't be fighting at 31-32 though. That's for sure.
I thought he was 31-32 already. He's only about 24-25, isn't he?
No, he's not. His career doesn't last. His career doesn't go into his 30s. There's no way.
But what a great little triangle, or even square of you could have Metcalf, Cheeseman, Fowler, Fitzgerald. Just put those four in for the next 2 years fighting one another. I'll be happy.
He's great to watch, though, Cheeseman, isn't he? He's so good to watch, so exciting, and full credit to him. And I hope he keeps his money this time and doesn't squander it, because he deserves to walk away with boxing with money.
Have you ever worked with him, Brad, when you've been down the Matchroom gym?
Yeah, I sparred Ted a few times. Yeah, he's strong, mate. He's strong, even though he's weight below. Non-stop, come forwards. And then when he wants to, he can box a bit. Better jab than you probably think. But yeah, I like his style. I like stuff like that. Just pure war. He's there. He can box when he wants to, but deep down, he just loves to tear up.
I'd imagine he must be a nightmare, because he's always got his front foot in your distance. And he never gave Metcalf the opportunity to take a breather or settle. He'd always got that lead foot and his range within the space where Metcalf could not switch off whatsoever. It must be a nightmare.
Yeah, not a second to think, and you better make sure you're fit if you're going to spar him because he's on your chest the whole time. But he's good. I rate him.
Yeah, he's a brilliant fighter, and I think maybe only now we're recognising how good he's been because he lost that European title shot against Garcia, wasn't it? And he had to take the time out after that and deal with some personal issues, but nothing but credit to the man. And Metcalf as well, because he was brilliant.
Yeah.
Good fight.
Fabio Wardley, let's touch on him.
Didn't see it.
Molina, I mean, listen, I love Fabio Wardley. I think he's supremely talented. I think he's going to be a great... I just love Fabio Wardley. But, I mean, Molina, my God. I mean,
Molina absolutely fucking swallowed it. It was dreadful.
Yeah.
And, I'm not a pro fighter. You never stepped in a ring. I don't care. He had a job to do and he didn't do it.
He just went to the floor. Same as Latte did with him. They just went to the floor at the earliest opportunity.
Yeah. Although he did catch Fabio, didn't he? And Fabio had to retreat a little bit, but it set him off. It lit a fire and he went for him.
But listen, Fabio's got no amateur experience. He comes from unlicensed boxing. He's got a lot to learn, but I just think he's really exciting, really good to watch. I don't know what level he ends up at, but I'm sure he'll go beyond British. I think listen, he's great to watch. And his trainer, by the way, his trainer, Rob Hodgins, is one of the nicest trainers out there. Really nice man, genuinely nice man. And I'm thrilled for Rob Hodgins as well that he's got somebody that good to train.
Yeah, I'm going to skip over Campbell Hatton. We'll give him a nod, but I kind of feel it's almost disrespectful to talk about such a young man who's been given that platform through name and he's taken the opportunity, and that's cool, but I wouldn't feel right reviewing his performance with all of that in mind.
I think we'll review him in a year's time or something. Let him learn his trade. Yeah.
No, I completely agree. What else went on in the undercard? Yusuf Kamari, of course, against Ken Baker.
Yusuf Kamari, he looked improved because he's always... There's two things. He looked very, very impressive, and I think Yusuf has shown massive improvement. But compared to Kane Baker's no Liam Dillon forced Yusuf back. Kane Baker wasn't capable of forcing Yusuf back. But despite that, I thought Yusuf was exceptional and showed a lot of improvement. But to a certain extent, Kane Baker wasn't capable of pushing Yusuf back like Liam Dillon was in their English title fight. So, but very, very impressive performance by Yusuf Kamari. I still don't think he beats Liam Dillon if they fight again, but that's just my view. But I think he really, really has shown massive improvement, and I think he's capable of winning titles for sure.
And one of the other highlights of the night before we go on to the main event was Michael Mackinson, Chris Congo.
Well, that was the bet from last week. That was the one where the bookies got it wrong, and they got it wrong.
And I think let's give Mackinson his due here as well, because we got it wrong to some degree in that we said that he could make it really boring, really like he could make this into a dull fight. He went out there and dropped him in the first round.
Yeah, and I thought he'd probably beat Congo by making it really awkward, but he sort of did. But he did a bit of the other as well. And I think you've got to. I tell you, you have got to give credit for who I think he's one of the country's most underrated trainers. That's his dad. His dad is a brilliant trainer, Michael Ballingal. A brilliant trainer. Brilliant trainer.
He's worked wonders with fighters over the years.
Yeah.
Done great things with them.
Yeah.
But Mackinson I thought was hugely impressive. I don't see many welterweights in the UK beating him.
I think there's money to be made out of him, in certain fights, because I think there's a lot of money to be made out of him because people are going to oppose him against certain fights. He's going to beat quite. I'm confident there's a few out there. There's a couple of there that he beats every day of the week, twice on a Sunday, and probably starts as the outsider. And but I'm not going to say that till I've had a bet on the money's on. When I've had my bet on my money's on, then I'll tell everybody what I think. But that I'll have a humongous bet on. If there's a fight I think they could make, and I'll be having a very big wager. I don't know if you know. I don't know if you have an idea what I'm referring to. Don't say it if you have. Do you have an idea?
Oh, 100%. I know exactly what you're referring
okay.
to.
Okay.
It almost makes those fights more difficult to make, I fear, because like there's not going to be a queue of people wanting to fight Michael Mackinson after that.
Yeah, he looks horrible to box, doesn't he? Southpaw, awkward. And if he did beat him, he probably wouldn't look good doing it, will you? So that's probably why people don't want to fight him too quick.
He's got exceptional reactions and hand speed. Like his ability to... And just his ability to... He spent most of the fights with that lead hand just pouring Congo's glove down. Just wouldn't allow Congo to get the jab going at all. And I think, oh, that must be so frustrating. But Congo didn't find a solution to it, did he? So fair play to Mackinson.
Yeah, changed his life. Winner stays on, isn't it? So he'll be back again, and his life's going to be good.
Fingers crossed. Someone remind that Linus is due a winner stays on fight.
Yeah, exactly that.
Yeah.
Well, the only fight they were talking about giving us was Felix Cash at relatively short notice. So that wasn't a winner stays on fight that on those conditions that were really ideal. But they never really made an offer. But that's not what we were looking for.
Yeah, winner stays on, Edward. Winner stays on, Linus. Dillian White.
Right, do you know what I'm going to say it. Povetkin was shot to bits in the first fight, and he hit him with a punch. He was even more shot to bits in the second fight. His footwork was gone. Povetkin was shot to bits last year, got away with it, and he was shot to bits this time. Doesn't prove anything to me. Well done to Dillian, because I think to come back after getting knocked out and do that, full credit to him. But it proves absolutely nothing. That's my opinion.
I'd say if you've done, 9 rounds now between the two of them, I would say Dillian White has won 26 minutes out of that, and Alexander Povetkin's won 1.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, there was nothing coming back, was there? And, for Dillian to go through it mentally and recharge and go away and bring in more people to his team and come back stronger and, he looked in immense shape, all those things, brilliant credit to him. Povetkin went the other way, unfortunately, and looked every part. He's 41 years old, coming off the bed after COVID, out of hospital. It wasn't comfortable viewing for me, but as you say, to me, it doesn't enhance Dillian from where he was sort of 6 months ago, 12 months ago. It just puts him back.
Yeah. Did you see it, Brad?
Yeah, I did actually. Didn't look the same, did he, Povetkin? Bit slower. I think Dillian White was a little bit more cautious. I think you would be, wouldn't you, if you've been chinned by someone, which made him miss it a little bit and made him look a little bit worse. But he always knew he could hurt him, didn't he? So it was just a matter of time, one of those ones.
Yeah. Right, all cards sorted. We're going to go on and do some questions. So our lovely viewers have sent some in. So, started one for you, Steve. After Yusuf Kamari's spectacular win on Saturday, would Steve let the Liam Dillon versus Dennis Wahomey fighter fight him on a Sky show, or would Steve be willing to put the fight on himself? Now, I'm guessing Wahomey won't fight him because they share a trainer.
Correct. So that's not going to happen. So I can only answer from Liam Dillon. I would take that fight in a heartbeat. Especially, I would want it to be on Sky if we could do that possible, because then Liam would get a chance to show his skill set on Sky. And so in an ideal world, that's where I'd like the fight to take place. I think it would be too good a fight not to be on TV. So that would be where I'd like it to take place. And as I said before, I think Liam wins.
It was a brilliant fight first time round. Sign me up for the rerun of it. Would Steve encourage Ian Lewison to come back? Some big fights domestically now.
Absolutely.
I love Ian, but that boat has sailed, surely.
Well sailed. Yeah, I think we need to move it. I don't know why on earth Ian Lewison wasn't fit. So many on Joe Joyce's debut, you couldn't get up for the fight with Joe Joyce, let alone he was seriously hurt in that fight, and he ended up in a hospital room. No, Liam Lewison should not box again.
Final question from Better Q on Twitter. Read an article the other day about Class A drugs being a problem at boxing shows. Just wondering, does Steve have any set policy on his own shows and his thinking on it in general?
What about drugs in sport?
Class A drugs being a problem at boxing shows.
You mean in the toilets and everything like that? I mean,
I've been to plenty of boxing shows. Yours, Hearns, Warren's, Hennessy's.
Surely that's down to security to police that, right? So you employ security to police that.
There's always a queue for the male cubicles, which is.
It means that people are getting drugs into the venue, aren't they?
Or maybe he's complaining they're not good enough drugs. Maybe he wants better ones. I don't know.
Of course, you don't want drugs in the venue, but you know they're there. You know it's going on. But again, that's
you can't really stop it, can you? It's a party environment, so you could up the restrictions. They'll find a way around it. It's always the way.
It's not on you ultimately, is it? It's on the venue and the security.
Yeah.
People want to watch boxing, get off their heads. They'll do it. You could have more security. They'll just stick up their ass or something on the way in. So they'll find a way around it. You can't stop it. Yeah. Most of the people that watch me, to be honest.
But it's true. Where there's a will, there's a way. Whether that's up your arse or whatever. Final question from Better Q. One for Brad. How hard has it been to keep motivated with no date? Yeah, I think we've probably touched on it. But...
Yeah, pretty much touched on it before, mate. Just keep fit, keep fit out there sparring. It's been really hard, but say again.
Keeping the mindset positive, that's important.
That's it. Yeah, I need it, or else I'll lose the plot, I think. And just makes it a bit easier when I come back. So I ain't got a shed 4 stone. I've only got a shed 3.
Don't tell
2.
Shaz on Twitter. Shout out Shaz, man, love him. Has Steve considered doing a pay-per-view, say £4.99 for 10-fight card, with the boxers encouraged to sell a certain number of pay-per-views each, like tickets? Unlikely to generate the income or profit, but allows them to stay active and pay for staging. No journeyman, but Goodwin versus Goodwin matches.
So let's go to the finances first. No income and no profit. Okay? Now that's okay. That's okay. But a 20,000, 30,000 loss is not okay. So if he can persuade if Shaz can, he's welcome to come down. If he can have a chat with my wife and persuade her that it's a good idea for me to put a show on and lose 20 or 30,000 pounds, I will do it. But that's how unrealistic it is in reality. And let's give you an example. If you go and hire a venue, even a small venue, go and hire Plymouth and go and do everything else. And you're talking about the basic costs for the ambulances, without paying a boxer, you're probably into 15 grand. Then you've got the board putting on all the testing, which I understand is another 15 to 20 grand. So we're into, say, 35 grand. Now, you and I know nobody's going to pay $4.99 pay-per-views. It's just not, they're just not going to pay. And they might buy them off boxers, but you're not going to match all your boxers to get beaten up to sell 20 pay-per-views each. You might sell 100 quid of pay-per-views. What on earth would be the point? So you can't fund the purses because you're already 35 grand down with no income, because the income is not going, you're not going to generate. So the problem is, yes, it's a really good idea, but boxing is not like bare knuckle boxing. You have much higher, much more costings regulated by the Board of Control than you do whether it's unlicensed or anything else. So it just makes it totally and utterly not cost effective. So that's
just for reference on that. Just taking that as a baseline cost, like before anyone has taken a penny for fighting anyone else. 35 grand at, say, £5 a pay-per-view is 7,000 pay-per-views that you'd have to sell just to cover the baseline cost.
And that's not, by the way, that's not paying a boxer.
No, that's just the venue, the board, the ambulances, 35 grand.
All the testing, all putting people in hotels, which you have to do. You're talking about 35 grand for
that. 7,000 pay-per-views, which if you're saying put 10 cards on, 20 lads, 350 pay-per-views they have to sell each. Now, like Brad, would you fancy going out trying
also, by the way, and selling the 350 pay-per-views and giving me the 350 pay-per-view money and then taking nothing? That's the economics of it. It makes no sense. Great
I
idea.
don't think it wouldn't be possible, because you got to think as well, like when people come normally, everyone will come in a group, wouldn't they? Be like a group of, say, 5-6 people. But if they buy a pay-per-view, they'll buy it in one person's house. So that's one buy, and they're going to have 8-10 people around them. So you're not every single person is going to buy a pay-per-view. I think it'd be 10 times harder to shift the pay-per-views at that, because people want to watch it together, don't they? Not many people are going to sit in and watch it on a Saturday on their own.
You're a very sensible man, young Brad, bringing up these points. You're not going to apply logic to things.
I thought about it. I was just starting to fight. I was trying to think of all different ways, but I don't think it's possible, to be honest.
But I love the fact people like Shaz are trying to come up with ideas to get, something moving. And
it's a really, I think with Shaz, what I'd like to do with Shaz, to be honest, is one week when we're doing a show, is he come to the office and I'll show, and he can see the numbers. He can see how it all works, how it works financially, because it'd be good for somebody like him to see it in reality, how the maths work out. Because
Shaz is a very successful businessman in his own right. I'm pretty sure he'd understand it.
But I think it'd be good for him to see it, because people just don't realise the mathematics of putting on a boxing show until they do it. I always say to people, if it's that easy, why aren't you doing it? Why are you not doing it? Because it's not that. It really isn't that easy. You work out. I'm probably getting paid 50p an hour for the amount of time I spend on boxing. Do you know what I mean? It's so ridiculous, and you only do it because you like it. And that's why a lot of people in boxing, they do boxing for a certain period of their lifespan, and then they fall out of love and they go and do something else. If you go back and look at who was promoting in 2005, 2006 in small halls, the vast majority of them aren't promoting anymore.
True. Right, moving on. Big question from Paul Altai for Brad. Would Brad rather fight 10 duck-sized Idris Virgos or one Idris Virgo-sized duck?
Oh, mate.
Or just Idris Virgo? Do you want to fight
Idris Virgo? Any sort of Idris would do. He's still not going to fight me though. He could be a duck or a horse or whatever he wants to be, or any money. Do you not do your head in, Martin?
Remind people what the deal was.
125k just to beat this guy. Easy. Come on. You'd chance it, wouldn't you? Even if you didn't think he was going to win, you'd go mad on it for that much money.
So the offer was, if he could knock you out in a fight live on Channel 5, he'd get 125 grand.
Even on one of our shows, I said it didn't matter which show. I'd put the money up for Channel 5 quietly, and I would lodge it with a solicitor beforehand. And if he could have beaten Brad, because I wasn't going to risk any dodgy referee decisions for obvious reasons. So as long as he beats Brad and it's a bona fide stoppage knockout, he gets 125 grand. But he didn't want to do it. But I don't talk about him anymore because it's just so boring. It's so boring.
It is boring, right? You can't take him serious, can you? I had another little thing of him on Twitter the other day, and his head is just he must know he's joking when he types this stuff. He's like, I'm above English level, I'm British level. No, was it you? Sam screenshotted his record. Yeah. And it was like, where in your mind have you figured out that you was British title level? But he obviously knows he's just trying to wind people up and does it for the clout. But I tell you now, mark my words, a journeyman will come and stop him one day. They'll come and give it a go, and he'll get found out even by a journeyman.
Do you genuinely think he's not very good?
I don't rate him at all. I don't rate his personality. I don't rate who he is as a person. And then when he gets in the ring, he isn't good enough to be acting the way he's acting. So people like that, they don't last very long. You can duck and dive and fake it and do this and that, but eventually time reveals all and you will get found out. And I wanted to be the guy to do it, but I couldn't make him do it. I couldn't hold his hand and make him sign a contract. Do you know what I mean? So someone else is going to have to do it. You don't want to do it.
All right, here's an interesting one. Lee on Twitter. Something I've noticed, rounds are no longer 3 minutes long, as it takes a trainers 10 seconds to get out of the ring once the bell is rung. Is this delaying tactics if your fighter is up or down on the cards, or am I seeing too much into it?
I don't think it's anything to do with up or down on the cards, but if your fighter's struggling either stamina-wise or they've had a tough round before, you can get yourself 15, 20 seconds before they engage in a punch. So it's not done for being. So that's normal tactics. Same as spitting out the gum shield. It just buys time, doesn't it, for your fighter?
Yeah. If your coach does that, oh sorry, ref, forgot the gum shield. You're like,
yeah.
he's helped you out for 15 seconds there.
Oh, you always find to be honest, if you're a corner man, you're going to do that to try and help your fighter, aren't you?
Do you
notice,
notice when you're sat down in the corner at the end of a round and you've got Terry, giving you a chat, you've got, I don't know, Kevin Campion putting some water in your mouth. How much notice are you paying to the guy sat on the stool in the other side of the ring? How much are you picking out how tired they look, how deflated they look, or are you purely concentrated upon what Kevin and Terry are telling you?
Since I've never looked across it then in my whole entire life. Yeah, it's just I've got to listen to Terry, and he's got a lot to say when I get back to the corner. normally bad stuff. Yeah, I don't think many people do that. Look at your opponent. I think your head's not in the right place. You've got to listen to what your coach is saying. It's the most important thing. And if you're looking at him or the ring girls or something, you need to give your head a wobble.
That's why Steve doesn't get ring girls anymore.
so
too many of you lot intentions. Yeah. Interesting one from Riku as always, because Riku always chucks in interesting stuff. Can you discuss with your podcast with Steve the Wasserman and Sauerland link that's been announced today? So Wasserman, who are the conglomerates, aren't they? Really, they're sports agency. They represent shed loads of top-level sports stars in different sports around the world, have taken over the Sauerlands. So as Riku says, they're massive in ice hockey, NFL, NBA and golf, and in football, work with a number of players, so they have tentacles to many markets. What's Steve's view?
I've been down I had a meeting with Wassermans about 2 years ago myself, 2.5 years ago. They're good people. They're very clued up. At the time they were looking to, they had some fighters, but they were having troubles with Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn. I knew that at the time. It wasn't working out well for them with either of those promoters. And they were looking to secure their own TV platform. And I'm led to believe they've now got one. And the easiest thing to do is to strike a deal. What they then need to do is strike a deal with somebody who's got some access to some quality fighters that are TV worthy. Now, Eddie Hearn, they can't strike a deal with. Frank Warren have already got the platform. MTK, they probably made a decision not to do that. And the next one down would be Sauerlands, because Sauerlands don't really have a platform over here. So it makes really good sense. So Sauerlands have got quite a lot of good fighters. So if they go and grab those, and then they can then build up their own TV network. And I would imagine what they'll do is look to recruit other fighters to run alongside the Sauerland fighters, or what they'll do is get the Sauerlands to sign fighters promotionally to them and do all the work for them. I'd imagine that's the thing that they're working on. I don't know for sure who they've got their contract with, but I'm fairly sure, if you know what I mean, from just a few things that I know was sniffing around the market before. So I think it's going to be a very big announcement as to the TV network. I think that if it's who I think it is, it's got a lot of legs and it will really rival everything else. So we will see. Traditional TV network, do you think? No. Okay. So something along the lines of, but not like a DAZN style, Fight TV style. A bit bigger than that. A bit bigger than that. Bigger name than that. Oh, okay. And then that could open up opportunities. So they need someone who's a knockout artist, who's a former Southern Area middleweight champion, who's from Newquay. I've got a good relationship. I get on really well with Wassermans. I've got a good relationship with them. So if that is what I think, then there is no reason why not, because they're going to be looking for the exciting new development ones. And I would assume, if you imagine MTK have got a lot of fighters signed up, but not everybody's going to want to work with them, I would imagine, because there's conflict. So there's a gap there for other quality fighters to get on, I think.
Get in shape. Get in shape, Brad.
If I'm right, when I'm off air, I'll tell you in a minute. But yeah,
I'm intrigued. Tom Osborne on Twitter. Question for Steve: when are you going to put a professional boxing bill on in Cornwall and make Brad Pauls the main event?
We tried, but the board stopped us because it's too far away from a neurological hospital. The furthest south they go is Plymouth. They will not go any further than Plymouth.
Yeah. Which is a massive shame for you, Brad, isn't it? Because you could draw some significant numbers down there.
Yeah, it would have been amazing. That's my actual dream, but can't do it. I don't think there's been a show there since the 80s or 70s or something.
Since Michael Watson got injured.
Oh, because they changed the legislations and stuff. Yeah. So Plymouth it is, but Cornwall would have been nice. But
on the beach. Oh. Final question, Tim Brown on Twitter. I was watching the old episode today with Brad. Has he decided between his dream home or Sophia Jamori yet?
Got my missus here. He's gonna get me in loads of trouble. I'll pick my missus and dream home. Little eco-friendly barn conversion in Cornwall. Solar panels, wind turbine. Sail off into the sunset when I retire. That's the plan.
You what?
Like an eco-friendly barn conversion, like solar panels. Yeah, all kitted out. This is my plan.
I've never heard something more hipster in my life, Brad.
That's it. Beautiful stuff. You come stay down, mate. Be all right. I look after you.
I like the sound of it. I'm down for that. Right, that's it. We're out of time. But Brad, thank you so much for coming along, man. It's great to catch up. Great to hear